Good morning, friends. On this rainy day, I have coffee in hand and I want to share something with you. We are in the season of Lent. A few weeks ago, we held a Lenten prayer retreat at Grace Bible Church. It was titled Journey to the Cross. The journey to the cross is a journey of suffering, opposition, betrayal, accusation, hatred, competition, discouragement, disappointment, and death. It's the journey that Jesus took before his resurrection. It's the journey that Jesus took in order to give us a path towards salvation. That retreat was a really meaningful space for those of us that attended. We engaged some of the biblical accounts in the days before Jesus' death and resurrection. And we just spent some time thinking about the hard things and looking for the hope that God has for us in those hard things, looking to Jesus as our model. I was thinking the other day, I could make this retreat available to you. So, I have a page on my website titled Personal Retreat. I'm also going to put a button on the homepage that will take you to that Personal Retreat page. On that page, I have a button where you can access the retreat document. So you can print that off for personal use. That document is still protected by copyright law, but it is available there for you. You can print it off. I am going to post videos that will move you through each prayer practice, each lectio, so that if you would like to engage those scriptures, those reflection questions, if you would like to use that retreat material as a springboard for your own prayer this season of Lent, you may do so. And I hope that it serves you. I hope you let me know if you engage this retreat. There was a quote from Ruth Haley Barton that I shared from an email she sent out, which is probably still accessible on her website for the Transforming Center. This is the quote: "This being human is complicated. We long for more in our spiritual lives, that's for sure. But we're not always ready for the harrowing journey of suffering, death, burial, and resurrection that any true spiritual journey entails. We want God as long as we can still have our successes too. We like the idea of being on a journey of faith as long as it doesn't require too much, faith. We dream of a promised land, but we don't want to leave anything behind. We want space for God as long as it doesn't intrude too radically on our packed schedules and conflicting priorities. We want self-knowledge as long as it doesn't cut too close to the ego bone. We desire to know and do God's will as long as it doesn't make us look foolish. We want love as long as it's not too inconvenient. We'd like to buy the pearl of great price as long as we don't have to sell everything we have. We wax eloquent about the Paschal mystery one weekend a year, as long as we're not the ones doing the dying." In one penetrating statement, Friar Thomas Keating captures the mystery of the human struggle at the heart of any true spiritual journey. He writes, "The spiritual journey is not a career or a success story. It is a series of humiliations of the false self that become more and more profound. This quote was really convicting for me, and it also drew me in to the deeper things that God has for us. And even as I read it again now, when so much of our busyness has been paused because of the crisis at hand, I see some invitations to again sink more deeply into God's love and God's invitation. So I invite you to join me through this retreat if you desire. There's a prayer that I use often for retreats. This is by a portion of a prayer by Ted Loder in his book, Guerrillas of Grace. Oh God, let something essential happen to me, something more than interesting or entertaining or thoughtful. Oh God, let something essential happen to me, something awesome, something real. Speak to my condition, Lord, and change me somewhere inside where it matters. Let something happen which is my real self, oh God. So friend, if you choose to engage this retreat, I am now going to move us in to the first prayer reflection. This is a prayer and attending to how do we come into this space of retreat. So if you haven't done it yet, pause the video and print off the retreat document on my website. My website is creatingspacetolisten.com. The How Do You Come prayer practice is on page 3 of the retreat document. This is simply an invitation to notice how you are as you come into this space of prayer and of listening before we engage the Lectios and the other more directive prayer practices. So I invite you to close your eyes, to pay attention to your soul, to your heart, even to your body, and notice, how do you come today? You are invited to slow down and pay attention. How do you come? Are you anxious? Are you fearful? Are you anticipating this time of quiet and stillness and attentiveness to God and to your own heart? Are there concerns for those you love, for the world and our nation? Are there concerns on your heart? Are there joys from sweet moments of connection in this season of slowing down due to our social distancing because of the virus? Can you feel the stress of changed rhythms? Or do you actually experience some rest and renewal in the slowdown. Take a moment to notice how you come into this space of listening. Father, even as we come, we ask that you would interpret our own hearts to us. Show us how we come. Sometimes we don't even know. What does God invite you to release as you enter this space of prayer? Take a moment to notice. What might God invite you to receive as you enter this space of prayer? Take a moment to notice. Father, we ask your Spirit to guide our listening together. Father, in this season of crisis and a change of rhythms, in this season where we are concerned and prayerful for our world, for our nation, for the weak among us, for those who serve among us. Father, we entrust ourselves, our loved ones, the world to you. In this space, enable us to listen for your leading. And as we engage with Jesus' journey to the cross, help us to see our own journey to the cross. That brings this video to a close. Look on the website for the first Lectio. Thank you.